Hey guys, what's happening? This is Eric with blah freaking blah. I've missed you. Have you missed me? Well, here I am. 9 months. 9 months have passed since my last video, and I'd pretty much given up the YouTube ghost. I just with all the negativity surrounding YouTube and Twitter and all the other stuff, I don't know. I kind of just felt the need to bow out for a while, and it's been hard. I cannot lie. I think I've even said this on Twitter before that I'm so close to making videos, and I'm so pressed for time, and the return on investment for the amount of time I would spend making videos months ago, and I tried for over a year. I am a failed YouTuber. That's a hell of a thing to put on a resume. But full confessional, I'm too much of a perfectionist. Honestly, I would spend hours and hours on the most trite videos. I mean, you watch my videos and you would think it was, 20 minutes worth of effort, and it was hours. It was literally, me recording and then editing it out, trying to give you guys the best possible content that I could. I would sneeze and go into editing software and cut the sneeze out just to try to give you the best video possible. And at the end of the day, what I had to realize months later was, you know what? I am just too perfectionistic in my tendencies. So, and realizing that, I still want to give the best that I can. I want to give everything that I have to offer. And truth be told, I have been absolutely slammed. And with YouTube demonetizing my channel because I had less than 1,000 subscribers, it became even less incentive to put my time there when my time frankly needs to be spent on a bunch of other things. I'm for the most part, I'm a writer, and I've decided I'm a writer who doesn't write. So am I not a writer, or am I a writer? If you're like me and you have a writer's tendency, the first thing in your head is the doubt, right? You just don't do it. You just doubt whether it's worth it, whether it's a worthy endeavor, people telling you when you were growing up to, just go ahead and just shelve that kind of fantasy and get yourself girded up for the real world, son. If you're a writer, I encourage you write. Since I've started writing again, and I love movies. I love writing film. I love writing stories. It's just my thing. If you're a writer, go write, because very little else will make you feel right with the world than doing what or exercising that gift that you were given. So I encourage you to do that. So what's got me off the bench here? What's got me engaged? What's got me doing this little break time video at work? Well, it's a subject that I keep seeing over and over again, and it just for some reason tears at me. And this may be the only video I do it may get no traction. Nobody may watch this, nobody may care, but I still wanted to put it out there because I just really care about what's happening in the industry, the comic book industry in particular, but the entertainment industry as a whole. And that is the issue of boycotts and boycotts. Let me make sure my audio is still recording here. It does seem to be. All right. This is the first time I've actually tried to record something on my phone, so this may be a complete failure. The issue of boycotts and boycotts really seems to tear at a lot of people because, it's contradictory to most of our nature. Most of us want the comic industry to succeed. We want creatives to succeed. We want everyone to find their place and get their piece of that pie. Even the people that we don't like. Most of us don't have any real ill will. The social justice warrior clan wants to burn it all to the ground, but that's not how we want to be. But there comes a point when things just get so toxic and you're so torn, your conscience is just like, okay, can I in good conscience put my treasure into something that is basic, like I said, toxic? The short version of this answer is a boycott better than a boycott, or is a boycott better than a boycott? The answer is yes to both, because both have their place. I'll explain that. It's a matter of personal conscience, okay? If you cannot in good conscience put your money into an individual or even the company, then that's what you need to do, at least for a time. If you want to see the company succeed, and you understand the importance of putting your treasure into what you love, then that's what you need to do. And see, my personal takeaway from this is, I mean, honestly, yes, sometimes things get so bad you have to stop feeding the beast. And forgive me if this doesn't make sense. If you want clarification, post anything in the comments section. I've gotten a lot of fire and brimstone since I walked away from my YouTube channel from people discovering certain videos. Oh God, especially the IDW misunderstood the trans and transformers video. I think that thing is literally at like 103 likes and 102 dislikes. It has been a 50-50 split since I put it up. But I encourage you guys, I want to discourse about this because, this is a hot take, I admit, but I feel like a lot of you guys have good, strong thoughts on the matter. And anyway, if you go on Twitter, it's a shit show, okay? Especially with the Mark Wade, with the Antarctic Press, with diversity in comics, you've got a lot of people with a lot of strong opinions. And the boycott that was fake foisted upon Antarctic, and I say fake foisted because it was pretty much foisted upon this publisher, the threat of a boycott from people who weren't going to buy their books anyway. That's the general impression I get. These people didn't buy Antarctic anyway, but they were like, well, hell, I certainly won't now. And it becomes a dividing line. For instance, Mark Wade has gone off the deep end so much that I personally, in good conscience, unless he did something really, really, really remarkable, I'm not going to buy his material. I'm just not. Now, his content and the supposed quality of that content makes it a really easy decision. No, it's crap. I've seen that it's crap. I've heard that it's crap. I've read that it's crap. The subject matter is crap. Yeah, you know what? I don't like flinging my money at crap. Unless it's like an old, cheesy 80s, action and adventure film. That's purposeful. But otherwise, I don't want SJW Marxist preaching in my stories. I just don't. I don't. Political discourse, that's fine. Tackling difficult subjects, that's cool. I mean, a lot of your gravitas in books and movies, stories, sometimes is tackling not necessarily topical events because that dates things, but the age-old questions of good versus evil. Sure, you have to have that. But when you're preaching just Marxist ideology and preaching at the side of your audience that votes differently than you do, nah, I got no time for that, okay? Either side, really. But this was another thing I used to cut out, is the pauses where I kind of ramble on and have to rear myself back in and try to get a grasp on, okay, where was I going? Because I'll rabbit trail hard. There's a reason why my channel was called Blah Freaking Blah. You've got that. So I'm giving an example of where I can encourage a boycott. See, here's the thing. We're forgiving, okay? We're forgiving. If Mark Wade, and I don't think this is going to happen, but if Mark Wade were to come out tomorrow and say, look, I overreacted. I was a complete asshole. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And then he put out a book that was an amazing old school Mark Wade Kingdom Come type book. Would I go out and buy that? Yes, I would. Because while I do not support the misadventures of Mark Wade and company lately, I don't. We are forgiving. And I would throw my support at an act of humility. I would throw my support at an act of repentance, if you will. Turning away from, the misbehavior and, and asking for a second chance. Of course, I think most of us would. And I think that's where a lot of us are torn. And that's the difference between us and the SJW type is they're very ideologically driven. They are unforgiving. They are the new Pharisees of the day. They are the stone throwers. And they will not stop until you are dead. Antarctic Press's CEO stepping down, or his owner, or the owner, or whatever it is, stepping down after he capitulated already publishing the book. He stopped it. He backtracked. He canceled the deal. What was the need of him to step down? There was no need for it. They're ideologically driven. They just want... They're like sharks. If they see blood in the water, they will keep circling. You don't give them that, ever. So, okay, so there is a point where you have to stop feeding the beast. There is a point where you have to send signals to the company that this person, this individual, this team will no longer get the Skrilla or the shekels, as Mr. Boycott likes to say. They're not going to get that anymore. And you know what? Companies pay attention to that. Don't let all this talk about, oh, it ain't no big deal. Don't go buy my book. You know what? Don't go buy their book. Don't. Even if you like the book, if they're on there telling you not to buy their book, don't go buy their book. Screw them. You know what? 3-4 months after the sales don't count, go to your local comic shop, look through the back issues, and if they got one for $1, buy that one. You're throwing a little bit of money at your local comic shop without directly supporting them, the misbehavioring creatives. If they tell you not to buy their book, don't. Okay? That kind of behavior doesn't need to be rewarded anymore. Not at all. If they're complete buttholes to you, look, we don't need to put our money behind people that treat us disrespectfully. It doesn't need to happen. There's no excuse for it. And if they apologize for it, forgive them. It's as easy as that. And to any creatives who might actually be looking to hot take this and roast me in the comments or, make fun of this or whatever, that's fine. But know this, most of us are forgiving. Okay? If you realize you've misbehaved, don't double down on your misbehavior. Just apologize. Do what a grown-up does. Apologize. The Buycott portion of this, let's take a look at Marvel real quick. And I'll wrap this up because I really wanted this to be a quick one. I'm not even sure how long I've been going for. Yep, it's a lot longer than I thought. So, here's the thing. And I presented this, I think, last summer in a video. And the funny thing was I got a lot of comments in the section below where it was like, no, screw that. We're not going to do this. We're just boycotting Marvel altogether. And this was back in the Axel Alonso days. Me personally, I think it sends the biggest signal to not just pull money away from something, but to put the treasure into something else. Now, let's just say the umbrella of Marvel is the example, all right? Let's say you're a big fan of Spider-Man, all right? Lots of you out there. I used to be a big Spider-Man. You can look at my video on where Spider-Man lost me, where Marvel lost me was, of course, with One More Day, like scores of others. You're a big fan of Spider-Man, right? You want to read Spider-Man. You want to encourage other people to read Spider-Man. But you can't, in good conscience, say, hey, this Nick Spencer guy, he's great. No, ain't that the one that did Nazi Cap? Oh, yeah, let's go right after his Peter Parker. Now, granted, Nick Spencer may surprise the hell out of us into a great Spider-Man run. I seriously doubt it. But, hell can freeze over. But you want to send a signal to Marvel, and you don't want to pull your money from the industry, because the industry is starving to death as it is. So what Spider-Man would you buy? How about J. Michael Straczynski's run? Are you missing any issues, or can you collect the trade paperbacks of that awesome, wonderful run of, great, fantastic stories? Minus the Civil War stuff. That was just a big misstep. Or the Todd McFarlane runs. Or, you can just keep going on and on and on. Show them what you want. You don't just want the days of old. You want that type of story. You want that Peter Parker. You want the real character, not this Dan Slott billionaire bullcrap preaching. I didn't do the Dan Slott run. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. But I hope this is making sense so far, because I am really doing the hot take rabbit trail here. The simple answer, guys, is you got to follow your conscience. And if you, for lack of any better way of saying it, if you sin against your conscience, it can tear you up. You know what I mean? If you feel like, no, I can't do that. I just can't do that right now. Don't. Okay? Give it time. If you just can in good conscience pay for something, don't. But I encourage you to find a place to if some of you have just written off comics altogether. Please don't do that. God, it grieves me to say this, okay? But I'm going to agree with Erik Larson. I don't agree with Larson on almost anything. I think the dude has turned into a royal prick. In a cynical old age, just been in the industry too long, needs to take a break. I don't know what his problem is. Maybe he needs to go to church with his family. That's probably what he needs to do. But Larson, I think in the Michelle Perez whole debacle where that person was just showing their ass, literally and figuratively, said, look, if you just cut Image out altogether, you hurt these creators over there. Now, he was being very manipulative in text, in tweeting that out, and the way he was using that, it was very manipulative. However, it was true. It's the truth. When you just, you want to send a message to Image, okay? Like I said, you got to follow your convictions, and I understand people that did that. But at the same time, you are hurting creators who have nothing to do with this other person's misbehavior, even Larson's misbehavior. And now you could argue that, Image Comics as a whole should be punished because the CFO is talking all this nonsense. I agree with you. Believe it or not. I mean, it sounds contradictory, but no, I see what you're saying. And that type of statement, I promise you guys, somebody watches the numbers. As business illiterate as a lot of these people act, they're watching the numbers. They see. They're not going to let you know they see, but they see when the numbers fluctuate. They see when misbehavior hurts them. And they're going to ignore it for as long as they can. But, man, you know what? Alonzo's out. A lot of these people got the boot because the awareness of the level of incompetence going on, it was made manifest and stuff happened. You think Larson's untouchable? He's not. Now, he's well insulated, but he's not untouchable, and he wasn't wrong. So, for a while, see, I think over a year ago, I mentioned that I wanted to buy Descender. This is my last example. I'll wrap this up, I think. And for a while there, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it because I was so ticked off about Erik Larson that I did walk away from Image Comics for a while. But letting the dust settle, which is what they're hoping for, you let the dust settle. And I had to think, I'm like, you know what? Does anybody from the creative team of Descender have anything to do with the actions of Michelle Perez or Erik Larson, the CFO? No. They just have a deal with Image. And they're hoping, like any of us, to make a living doing what they love. Should Image be punished for if they were to put out Jawbreakers? Man, of course that's not going to happen. But let's just say Image bit the bullet one day. They had a change of heart and they said, you know what? We like money and we want to put out Jawbreakers. The flip side is going to come into play. The people having this argument on the other side, do we boycott Image altogether? And the same thing. And what would we tell them? You can boycott that book, but don't boycott the other guys. Maybe Perez, maybe Larson. That's okay. But the other guys trying to make a living, let's still put our money towards them and give them chances. Maybe they don't deserve it. Maybe they're the same. Maybe their misbehavior comes flaring out. We just got to take it on a case-by-case basis. But all in all, if you're still listening to this, if you're like one of the 5 people that showed up to this video after so long and listen to this whole spiel, I appreciate you listening. I hope this made sense. I don't know if I'll be back to make more videos. This was weighing on me for so long, I just had to get it out. I know this was rapid fire. I know it's spur of the moment. I thank you for listening. I want to know what you think. Follow me I'm on Twitter at Eric_talks. Find me there, follow me there, subscribe here, hit the notification bell to be notified if I do put out any more videos. But in the meantime, thank you guys for listening. I look forward to your thoughts. Make sure you comment, and I'll see you on the next one if there is one.